Success and failure rarely announce themselves with dramatic events. More often, they are the quiet outcomes of repeated patterns that seem too small to matter in the moment. The habits you tolerate, the standards you accept, and the decisions you postpone gradually shape the direction of your life. What appears insignificant today becomes influential tomorrow. Every day, individuals cast small votes for the person they are becoming, choosing to prepare or to delay, to learn or to ignore, to persist or to withdraw. These choices accumulate. Over time, repetition turns behavior into identity. When a pattern is practiced long enough, it no longer feels like a choice, it feels natural. This is why unnoticed habits are so powerful. They operate silently, yet their results are unmistakable. Understanding this principle changes how we evaluate progress. Instead of searching for immediate transformation, we begin to examine consistency. Improvement begins when awareness replaces autopilot. By observing daily routines with honesty, a person gains the ability to interrupt patterns that lead away from growth and reinforce those that lead toward it. Small corrections create momentum. A single disciplined action may seem minor, but it establishes direction. Direction, sustained over time, produces results that once appeared unreachable. Just as neglect compounds quietly, so does effort. The same principle that erodes potential can also build excellence when applied intentionally. The encouraging truth is that no life is shaped in a single moment, therefore. No life is limited by a single moment either. Change becomes possible the instant awareness is applied to behavior. When individuals take control of small decisions, they gain influence over large outcomes. What is practiced daily becomes reality eventually. By choosing better habits consistently, anyone can shift the trajectory of their future without needing dramatic change, only deliberate, repeated improvement. Progress and achievement do not come from luck or circumstance, they come from the choices we take responsibility for. Many people wander through life blaming external conditions, the economy, other people, lack of opportunity. While the world is never perfect, waiting for it to be perfect is the quietest form of self-sabotage. The moment a person embraces personal responsibility, they stop being at the mercy of events and start being the architect of their own future. Responsibility is not a burden, it is the key to freedom and empowerment. Taking ownership begins with acknowledging that every result, every setback, and every success in life reflects decisions that are within your control. This means your progress is never random. It is the outcome of repeated choices, consistent actions, and the discipline to follow through even when no one is watching. When a person understands this, excuses lose their power. The problems that once seemed overwhelming transform into opportunities for learning and growth, because the focus shifts from why me to what can I do. This principle extends to all areas of life, career, relationships, health, and personal growth. Leaders, innovators, and successful people are not necessarily smarter or luckier, they simply accept responsibility for their results. They know that waiting for perfect conditions is waiting for nothing. Each decision to act, each commitment honored, and each challenge met builds the foundation for greater achievements. Embracing responsibility also strengthens resilience. Challenges no longer feel like threats to be avoided, but lessons to be learned. When you accept that your actions shape your outcomes, fear diminishes because you recognize that the power to change exists within you. Growth is no longer dependent on external validation or approval. It becomes a direct consequence of your own effort, consistency, and determination. The inspiring truth is that responsibility transforms ordinary individuals into extraordinary achievers. By taking control of your choices, your habits, and your mindset, you step into a life of intention and purpose. Progress is no longer left to chance, it becomes a deliberate act. When you stop blaming circumstances and start mastering what is within your control, doors open that once seemed permanently closed. The life you dream of is waiting not for luck or opportunity, but for the courage to fully claim responsibility for it. The environment we live in and the thoughts we allow in our minds are more powerful than most people realize. Every day, we are influenced by the words we hear, the people we spend time with, and the ideas we choose to entertain. Success is not just about talent or effort, it is about the subtle forces that shape our mindset and guide our decisions, often without our conscious awareness. The mind is like fertile soil. Whatever is planted will grow. Positive thoughts, empowering beliefs, and supportive associations cultivate growth, while negativity, doubt, and unproductive connections quietly limit potential. Inner dialogue is the most constant voice you will ever hear. It can either be a source of encouragement or a silent saboteur. If your mind is filled with "I can't" or "this is too hard," those words will guide your actions and shape your outcomes. Conversely, if your thoughts affirm your ability to learn, adapt, and overcome, you create a mindset that opens doors rather than closes them. Success begins in the mind, often long before it becomes visible in results. The quality of your thinking directly impacts the quality of your life. Equally important is the company you keep. Humans are social beings, and energy is contagious. Surrounding yourself with people who challenge you, inspire you, and hold you accountable elevates your standards and strengthens your resolve. On the other hand, associations that tolerate laziness, encourage excuses, or foster fear quietly drag you down, even if their influence seems subtle at first. You may not notice the effect day by day, but over months and years, the habits, attitudes, and perspectives of those around you become your own. The empowering reality is that both your inner dialogue and your external environment are under your control if you choose to take responsibility. By intentionally curating the thoughts you entertain and the people you spend time with, you can create an ecosystem that nurtures growth, resilience, and success. Change does not require drastic upheaval. It begins with small, deliberate adjustments. Reading a book that challenges your thinking, choosing conversations that elevate rather than drain, and consciously replacing negative self-talk with constructive encouragement are all steps that compound over time. Your mindset and environment quietly shape your destiny. Recognize their power, and you can steer your life in a direction that reflects your highest potential. What you allow in your mind and who you allow in your circle determine not only your actions today, but the results you achieve tomorrow. Growth is never comfortable. Every step toward a higher level of success demands that we leave behind what is familiar and safe. Most people avoid this discomfort without realizing they are silently limiting their own potential. The ordinary routines of life can feel secure, but if they are not aligned with growth, they become a quiet prison. To achieve anything meaningful, we must embrace the challenges, sacrifices, and disciplined effort that accompany real progress. Discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement. It is not an act of punishment, but a demonstration of self-respect. Reading, learning, and practicing consistently, even when motivation wanes, builds capabilities that luck cannot provide. Small actions, repeated daily, accumulate into extraordinary results over time. The consistent effort to do what needs to be done, even when it is inconvenient or invisible to others, separates those who dream from those who accomplish. Intentional discomfort is also a teacher. When we stretch beyond our current limits, we discover strengths we never knew existed. Growth demands patience, resilience, and the courage to face temporary failure as a stepping stone rather than a stopping point. The process may be slow, and progress may not always be visible, but every moment of effort deposits value into your future. Avoiding discomfort may feel safe in the short term, but it ensures stagnation in the long term. The fear of becoming more is one of the most subtle killers of success. It manifests as hesitation, procrastination, or the quiet rationalization of staying the same. Yet growth does not happen by standing still. It happens when we willingly confront the unknown, adapt, and evolve. Each choice to improve, each small step outside the comfort zone builds momentum and reshapes the person you are becoming. Ultimately, embracing growth transforms the way we approach life. It shifts our perspective from seeking immediate comfort to valuing long-term fulfillment. Every challenge becomes an opportunity, every failure a lesson, and every disciplined effort a foundation for future success. The life we desire is not found in the avoidance of difficulty, but in the intentional pursuit of becoming more than we were yesterday. By choosing growth, we open the door to potential that is only limited by the courage and persistence we bring to each day. When we step back and see the full picture, a clear truth emerges. Success is not an accident, and it is rarely the result of a single dramatic event. It is the sum of daily choices, disciplined actions, and conscious habits. Awareness of the silent forces that influence our life, our habits, our sense of responsibility, the thoughts we entertain, the people we associate with, and our willingness to grow gives us the power to change our trajectory. Every day presents a choice, to act with intention or to drift with circumstance. The small, repeated decisions we make quietly shape the person we are becoming, and ultimately the results we achieve. When we take responsibility for our direction, guard our mindset, cultivate supportive relationships, practice discipline, and embrace the discomfort of growth, we transform obstacles into stepping stones and potential into reality. The silent killers of success only have power when we allow them to operate unnoticed. by identifying them, confronting them, and replacing them with empowering habits, we turn the tide in our favor. Progress becomes inevitable because it flows naturally from the person we choose to become. In the end, the life we desire is not waiting for luck, chance, or permission. It is waiting for the courage to act, the discipline to persist, and the commitment to grow despite fear or discomfort. Success is not a distant dream, it is the natural outcome of consistent, intentional effort. Protect your focus, strengthen your habits, and embrace the journey, and the results will follow. The quiet killers of success can no longer stand in your way when you choose to rise above them.